Imagine losing almost everything. Your cities are in ruins. Your economy has collapsed. Millions are homeless. Industries are destroyed. And the world believes your nation may never recover. Now imagine becoming one of the richest and most technologically advanced countries on Earth in just a few decades. That is the story of Japan. After World War II, Japan went from devastation to becoming an economic giant, producing some of the world's most trusted cars, electronics, and technologies. But how did a country that was nearly destroyed rise to become an economic superpower? The answer lies in discipline, innovation, strategic reforms, and a national determination unlike anything the world had seen before. When World War II ended in 1945, Japan was in a desperate situation. Major cities like Tokyo, Osaka, and Hiroshima had suffered enormous destruction. Factories were damaged, transportation networks were broken, and food shortages were widespread. The country's industrial production had collapsed. Inflation was soaring, unemployment was high, and many people struggled just to survive. For many observers around the world, Japan's future looked bleak. But what happened next would become one of the greatest economic recoveries in human history. After the war, Japan underwent major political and economic reforms. Large landowners were forced to sell land, allowing millions of farmers to own the land they worked on. This increased productivity and created a stronger middle class. The government also reduced the influence of powerful monopolies that had dominated the economy before the war. A new constitution encouraged democratic governance and focused national resources on economic development rather than military expansion. Because Japan spent relatively little on defense, more money could be invested in education, infrastructure, and industry. These reforms laid the foundation for future growth. One of Japan's greatest strengths was its people. Education became a national priority. Schools focused heavily on mathematics, science, engineering, and technical skills. A highly educated workforce emerged, ready to rebuild the nation. Japanese culture also emphasized discipline, teamwork, responsibility, and continuous improvement. Workers took pride in their jobs. Companies invested heavily in training employees. Many workers remained with the same company for decades, creating loyalty and stability. This combination of education and work ethic became a powerful engine for economic growth. In 1950, a major event unexpectedly accelerated Japan's recovery. The Korean War broke out. The United States needed supplies, equipment, vehicles, and logistical support for military operations in the region. Because Japan was geographically close, American forces purchased massive amounts of goods from Japanese companies. Factories that had been struggling suddenly received huge orders. This influx of money helped restart industries, create jobs, and stimulate economic growth. Many historians consider the Korean War one of the key turning points in Japan's economic recovery. During the 1950s and 1960s, Japan focused on manufacturing, rather than simply producing cheap goods. Japanese companies concentrated on improving quality. Businesses adopted new production methods, reduced waste, and constantly refined their products. This philosophy became known worldwide as continuous improvement. Soon, Japanese products gained a reputation for reliability and precision. Companies like Toyota, Sony, Honda, and Panasonic became global brands. Consumers around the world began choosing Japanese cars, televisions, radios, cameras, and electronics because they were dependable and affordable. Exports exploded, and with every product sold overseas, more wealth flowed back into Japan. Another reason for Japan's success was cooperation between government and industry. Government agencies worked closely with businesses to identify promising industries and support long-term development. Rather than focusing on quick profits, many companies planned years or even decades into the future. Investments were directed toward industries such as automobiles, electronics, steel, shipbuilding, and later, advanced technology. This long-term vision allowed Japan to compete successfully against much larger economies. By the 1960s, the world began noticing something remarkable. Japan's economy was growing at an astonishing rate. New highways, railways, factories, and office buildings appeared across the country. The launch of the famous high-speed bullet train showcased Japan's technological ambitions. Living standards improved dramatically. Millions entered the middle class. By the 1970s and 1980s, Japan had become one of the largest economies on Earth. Its products were everywhere. Its companies were global leaders. And the nation that had once been devastated by war had become an economic powerhouse. This period became known as the Japanese economic miracle. Japan's rise demonstrates that natural resources alone do not determine a nation's success. Japan possesses relatively few natural resources compared to many countries. Yet it achieved extraordinary growth through education, innovation, discipline, efficient manufacturing, and long-term planning. The country's recovery proved that even after catastrophic destruction, a nation can rebuild itself through determination and strategic decision-making. Japan's journey from the ashes of war to economic superpower remains one of the most remarkable transformations in modern history. From ruined cities and economic collapse to bullet trains, global brands, and technological leadership, Japan's post-war recovery changed the course of history. Its story is a powerful reminder that a nation's greatest resource is often not what's beneath the ground, but the skills, determination, and vision of its people. And that is how Japan became an economic superpower after World War II. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe for more fascinating moments from history that changed the world.